actually, it's more of a transfer conversation. But Zubimendi has come out, Ram, and said that he regrets his decision. Regrets not joining Liverpool in the summer. And boy, could you guys... I mean, when I say could you guys do with him, this is a football conversation, really. He rejects it, and there's talk of him coming in January. But has Gravenberch essentially solved that problem anyway? Do you need him now?
Yes. I still want him in my team, Terry. Like, the more better players that we have in our team, the greater our chances of winning trophies. And that's what big teams should do. Look, at the end of the day, the grass, people say the grass is not always greener. Sometimes the grass is green on the other side. And the fact that Real Sociedad lost Merino, and then they lost someone else as well. I think Lenormand left them as well. We all knew that Sociedad is not going to be the same team. And it's showing now. I think they're around about mid-table in La Liga. And look, it was an opportunity for him to join a team that's looking to challenge both Manchester City and Arsenal. But I guess he's more content staying in the mountains of the Basque region than actually going to be challenging for major trophies. So that's up to him. If he's still happy to join, look, at the end of the day, he's a quality player. I would still want him in my team. I think he would take a team up to another level. And if that means we can get a cut price deal on him in January, then so be it. So be it. But I don't feel bad about him. He made his choice. He decided to stay. He took all that time messing around with the club and everything, not making a decision straight away. He said he was going to join, but ended up changing his mind. I'm not too bothered about it. But if he does join, then another player to add to the team. But the grass is always green on the other side.
I understand that. Giuseppe, we've seen Gravenberch, though, really produce this season. We saw in the Champions League away against Milan. He was amazing. He's been brilliant in the opening games. I know...
Oh, no.
Not again.
That Elon Musk Wi-Fi again, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that Elon Musk Wi-Fi. He can probably still hear us as well. That's the funny thing.
I can hear everything you all fucking say, right? So again, there's zero. People keep saying, get better Wi-Fi. I literally, they took the fiber. There's no internet where I live other than this now until they reproduce it. And they've told us on the OpenReach website, they've said there's no plans for the foreseeable future. I'm like, how can we? The government promised everyone would have fiber by the end of 2025. I think they fucking lied. But it's okay. I won't moan about it. I'm not a politician. But yeah, Giuseppe, could this impact the growth of Gravenberch in that area, who has been producing some brilliant football?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, right? Because you need numbers, really, if you're Liverpool. But at the same time, Gravenberch has stepped up when this guy declined you. So you're going to have to tell him, listen, if you come in, you're not guaranteed starting or anything because you turned us down. Like, we wanted you and you said no. So at the end of the day, Gravenberch is playing well. You have to keep him in. And I think he's surprised a lot of Liverpool fans because I know a lot of Liverpool fans that were like, oh, he's not good enough. Oh, I don't even want him at the club. Why did we sign him? Waste of money, da-da-da. And then this season, they're all shutting up and they're all twerking for him. I don't know about you, Rams. Don't know how you were with him. But, yeah, I think it would. I think it would because I think you bring in Zubimendi and he's going to end up being the main guy. I think it will end up happening. If they pay that money, he'll end up being the main guy. Should they do it, though? I'm a personal believer of when a guy does you like that, you don't get him. Like I know that might be a bit like cut your nose off to spite your face sort of thing. But for me, if someone like that's why I never really wanted Vlahovic when people were saying, oh, but we could maybe now get Vlahovic. I was like, no, he come out and actively said he was ignoring our phone calls. He didn't want us. And there's nothing wrong with that. But once you've done that, I kind of feel like I don't want to then go and get you. You didn't want us when we wanted you. So we're not going to come and want you now. You want us.
Tell them.
So I think that they should just swerve Zubimendi personally, but it's hard because he's a good player. And I know Liverpool fans will still be so happy if he comes, but the way the abuse that he the abuse you guys got because of this guy, Zubi the Zubi, and all that stuff.
All I have to say is, would this guy be saying this right now if Real Sociedad were 6-0? He wouldn't be saying this. He's saying this because they've only won one game out of their first 6, and he's looking around.
That's
at
his
team.
problem.
He's looking around at his team, and he's like, "Yo, this is not the same team as last year." That's probably
Yeah, that's his problem.
How
him
important
or
was
is it
Moreno?
Is it agent talk? Because it sounds like it is. I personally think there's a system and there's certain games where you could play them together. Because Ryan Gravenberch in the Ajax system was actually an 8 predominantly at the time. And he went to Bayern and they kind of experimented in like 3 or 4 different positions. You could have Zubimendi as a lone 6, and then you probably in some games could play Soberslai alongside Gravenberch or McAllister. Like, I haven't been massively impressed with Soberslai so far. And I think he does. I mean, he got a goal against Milan. It was off his shin. Clever finish. But overall performances,
Hey man, respect.
the jury's out. And I think if he's available for, what is it, £52 million on that screenshot, Terry, I still think you have to snap him up.
Apparently, as well, I've heard from multiple sources that he was offered before to convince him to stay at Sociedad. He was going to get given a new contract. Apparently, they haven't kept that end of the bargain to him. He wasn't given a new contract, which just makes the thing even more messier. But it's like what you said, Henry. I think he still comes in. Gravenberch still plays alongside him, and McAllister plays in the 10. I think that might be something that will go forward with. But Soberslai, Gravenberch, Zubimendi, hypothetically, McAllister, Elliott.
You've got plenty of options there now.
So many options, and it just boosts our squad a lot more.
Do you know what I think's interesting about it as well is I rate Gravenberch, and I think he's been excellent this season. But I don't think you should be. I think, listen, we could go another 5 games and go, oh, that was a sort of new to the position. Like, you know what's the expression when people like win money? They start playing cards and they win money. Beginner's luck. There could almost be an element there of he starts well but fades once. I remember, he's better than this player, by the way. I remember when Francis Coquelin returned to Arsenal from Charlton. And I remember this because one of my best mate I was living with at the time was, oh, have you seen how good he is? He's going to be this, he's going to be that, he's going to be the other. 6 months later, I'll get rid of him again. So I think I personally still feel, although I asked the question, I think you've got to still go and get Zubimendi. I think he is amazing in that position. I think he'll bring the style of football that Klopp's looking to adapt to another level, gives you that extra strength and depth. But yeah, it just goes to prove that the grass isn't always greener on the right side of the mountain, is it? It sometimes isn't that great. So,
but you know, strictly with like the athleticism and the body and the size that Gravenberch is, he could probably, as long as he has the technical ability and he can continue to improve as a player, he could reach higher heights than Zubimendi. I think
his technical ability is no question, Miguel.
Yeah, so
I think his technical. He uses more technical ability than his actual.
He could end up being a better player than Zubimendi for Liverpool in the future if he continues to develop. Because this,
but again, it's two different players. Again, right?
Let me compliment your player before you cut me off, man. 1 second.
Sorry.
I was going to say he's been one of the most improved players so far this season, I think.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Look, on my thoughts on Gravenberch last season, I was disappointed. I knew that guy had talent, but I didn't think he showed it that much. But the physicality thing was my main question. 4'4", he can run around the pitch, but he doesn't use it a lot. He's mainly relied on his technical ability. But I think having Zubimendi next to him just gives him that new lease of life and just removes the shackles off him, and he can drive forward, which I think is his best attribute. And doesn't force him to, keep the ball and stay in like a more defensive position. I would like him to go forward, dribble with the ball, play passes in towards the final third, that kind of stuff, not just stay on the center circle and just play the ball around like left, right, and center.
That makes a lot of sense. Viewers, give us your thoughts and feelings on it below. George here says he must have heard Sam's reaction. Very, very true indeed. By the way, everyone, get the likes up as well, people. Let's get that like button smashed right now. Nearly 3,500 of you watching on this early show on a Thursday afternoon. So get that smash for us right now if you haven't hit the like button already. Liverpool this weekend, though, you take on Bournemouth at home. You must be very confident of winning that game.
Terry, I was very confident in winning against Nottingham Forest, and look how that happened. You know what I mean? But I will say, given the fact that we did bounce back in Milan the way we did, great mentality, going 1-0 down and then winning 3-1 in the San Siro is no mean feat. We should be winning this game, regardless of what result it was at Milan. It is Bournemouth, who I think are in an okay run of form, a bit disappointing to many people. But the reaction that we still should have is that we need to go out and win confidently. We can't have these slow starts again, you know. And some of these players have proven to the manager that they should be starting, i.e. Cody Gakpo. I expect Cody Gakpo to start in this game. And certain players have a point to prove as well, because we've been quite disappointed with them. The players like Jota, to an extent, Szoboszlai as well. So for me, 3 points minimum. I mean, it should be a 2-0 win minimum for me. I think Bournemouth just don't look the same team as they were last season.
It's a good fixture for you lot, isn't it? I mean, like, you're at Anfield. It's off the back of a Champions League win. I think haven't you beat AC Milan 4 out of the last 5 times at the San Siro or something like that?
Yeah, AC Milan. The only time Milan beaten us in the Champions League in their history was in 2007. I think we played them about 7 or 8 times.
You at set pieces.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. I don't want to talk about, you know, us for a little while. Like, me and Kate, we're happy. We're through to the next round, just leaving. We'll talk about Spurs another day. But yeah, it's a good fixture. I think last week against Forest, I think you were so disappointing in your play. I think Trent gave the ball away 31 times, or a mental stat like that. Gravenberch didn't look his best. Salah, wasteful. Jota, I don't know what it is with Arnie Slot, because it comes to like the 70th, the 60th, 5th, 70th minute. He makes up 3 changes in a row. It's not like a like-for-like change. It's bang. I want an instant impact. And I actually kind of rate that, to be fair, because you don't really get that from a lot of managers in the league. But this Darwin Núñez situation, right? I saw someone on Twitter earlier bring up a thread, and it was like, he's converting chances, the amount of games he's played, his goal record. I don't really see him ever being a first-team starter in this system for Slot. Whether Jota's going to get enough goals is maybe a different question, but I think you need to bring in a number 9 now. I think you need to, for me personally, I think you've got to get rid of Núñez, and I think you need to rotate Jota with someone else. I don't know what your thoughts are, but sorry?
I'd rather have Chiesa play up front than him.
Yeah, but he's not normally he can play full.
Well, that says a lot. That says a lot. That's what I mean, Henry. It says a lot.
Would you not put because I know Gakpo's best performances for Liverpool have been off the left. However, for the Netherlands in the Euros, he predominantly played as a 9/left. Would you not? You know, Arnie Slot knows him very well as well from his time in the Eredivisie when he was at PSV. Do you not roll the dice? I mean, this is a good fixture to make 2 or 3 changes, because I think even with those changes, you should still score 2 or 3 goals.
But I would say this, Henry, in the Euros, even though he did play up front, he did like to drift over to the left to collect the ball. And then Xavi Simons would make the run into the box for him. And I can't remember who that left winger was when they were playing. I think it might have been Clive. I don't think it's Clive. Somebody else was playing there. It might have been Xavi Simons. Might be one of them. But I think Gakpo's shown that his ability on the left is more effective. I think the striker position, we just need a poacher. We need a fox in the box, basically. And Jota's had his chances to convert them. I think he's only converted 1 out of a possible like 9 or 10, which is a bit disappointing for a player of his quality. But I completely hear what you're saying with Núñez. Like, look, I don't trust Núñez at all in front of goal. Like, was he the worst striker in terms of conversion rate in the Premier League from last season?
I want to throw this out, though. I know I've said a minute ago, I still think you should get Zubimendi. Depending on the finances available, if Gravenberch is still doing brilliantly come January, maybe you need to look at that money being invested in a goal scorer. Potentially when you get to that point, because Gakpo's okay, but he's never going to be prolific. Jota's decent, very good, but injury prone. And Darwin Núñez legitimately is pants.
But we also need a centre back as well, Terry. We also
Yeah,
needed centre
no, and I think that's fair. I think you need to look at where you're at in January. I think, and I know that sometimes you want to make all your signings, you want them to have a long-term vision. But let's just say you're doing okay on clean sheets, winning a lot of games, but you're just struggling in some matches to score that goal. Maybe the striker issue needs to be addressed. Maybe.
I mean,
Liverpool
as in
need
like,
to try
if I had
down- Liverpool need to try down Trent, Salah, and Van Dijk before they have a contingency for any other signings.
They're going.
That's what I'm saying.
this
They're
guy's
going.
bringing it back to the
This
complete-
is-